When it comes to Liverpool football, this is the type of game we expect with the talent we have available to us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Liverpool Latest. I am your host, Matt Mysholowsky, and I am proud for once to talk to you guys about a game where we dominated. We walked in to Germany and gave them their own taste of a blitzkrieg, to throw a little history humor at you right there. But the final score was 5-1. Liverpool beat Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League, which has been a league that we have struggled at times, especially recently, given our previous loss that none of us want to talk about right now. It was part of that awful string of losses, but finally, it seems like we are back to form after some severe criticism to Arne Slot after the United loss. A lot of stuff happened this game. Let's get right to it. Let's kind of go over the goal scorers first. Hugo Ekitike scored. Van Dijk and Ibrahim Konate, man. Ibu scored, which is something that is rare nowadays anyway. And off set pieces, no less, they scored, which was hilarious because a lot of the times set pieces is not our forte. Gakpo also kind of redeemed himself after a rough performance against United with a goal in the 66th minute, and Dominic Szoboszlai, of course, had a goal as well not too long after. This is the type of stuff I want to see, man. I was not able to watch the full match, unfortunately. I don't really have access to Champions League games at this moment in time. I did watch the highlights, and I won't lie, this game could have very well have been a clean sheet, 5-0 victory. But I think that rough little transition to where Rasmus Christensen scored in the 26th minute. I mean, the passing was pretty good on that side of the pitch, and we just couldn't stop it. And it was just a little bit of a rough patch there for the guys. I mean, they scored first, Frankfurt, and everybody is already up in arms like, oh, God, it's the end of the world. We're going to lose this one, too. Thankfully, that was not the case. I do kind of blame that on Robertson a little bit, though. Andy Robertson could have done a little bit better defending. He could have been a little bit tighter. The ball, as you can see, if you go back and watch the highlights, does go through his legs, which is a bit rough if you're someone like him. You know, I don't hate Andy Robertson, but I feel like he's being relied on far too much in certain cases. He's an aging player in a spot where we can't really afford to have an aging player in. I mean, we should have gotten. We have gotten a few defenders, and some of them have not worked out all that well. I mean, Kirkez is usually in a position like that, I believe, and he hasn't performed relatively well in some of these appearances. Let's talk about Wirtz. Wirtz was absolutely phenomenal. He had 2 assists on the game, a really, really solid chance that if the ball was just a little bit more like timed, it's like one of those moments in a game where it's like, if the timing was just a little bit more on our side, the ball goes in the net. The keeper doesn't get that. Unfortunately, the keeper was on time for that shot that Wirtz had on I believe it was a free kick set piece. And if that had went in, that would have been reminiscent of a goal that McAllister had, I think, a season or two ago. That was glorious. And I still think about to this day. Had to have been like a 30-yarder too. But that Wirtz one was something special if it had made it. He played really well today, man. He was a little quiet in the first half, according to some of the reports I've seen. But once the second half came on, absolute stunner, man. He really impressed me with this one for sure. I just wish this was the team that we would see all the time. And I think we're getting a little bit of a lull in our schedule in terms of like competition. I mean, if you look at the upcoming matches we do have, We have Brentford coming up this coming Saturday, which I'm going to get to in a second. Crystal Palace in the EFL Cup, Aston Villa, and then this is probably the toughest one on the 4th of November, Real Madrid. Some old rivals coming to Anfield, which is just what we needed to deal with. But nonetheless, these next couple of games, probably the toughest one, not including Madrid, is going to be Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace has been performing relatively well this season, and they beat us in the Community Shield game for the start of the Premier League season, which I have a lot of opinions about still because I did watch that game. So I'm going to save judgment for now, but we're lucky that we have this bit of a lull over the course of the next 3 games because after that we have, like I said, Madrid, Man City, and that's going to be something to be worried about if you ask me. All in the span of like 5 days, those 2 games, too. Not even, maybe even 4. Here's a little bit of something that's going to concern us over the course of those next couple of games, too. Frimpong apparently got injured in the first half, which is less than stellar news, if you ask me, considering, people have been clamoring for him to play a little bit more, as he should. He's a great player, I think, and 19 minutes. Lasted 19 minutes in the first half, and the Dutchman could not. He got hurt somehow, and Connor Bradley, who also had a very good game, by the way. I absolutely crapped on Connor Bradley in a previous video, but he played very well. He had a lot of good chances in this game, so good for him. I mean, granted, they're playing. I wouldn't necessarily compare Frankfurt to elite competition like a United or elite talent, but they're a solid team. They played solidly. I can see that in the highlights. But Connor Bradley had himself a day too because of Frimpong's injury, and it seems like Frimpong's injured for the very foreseeable future, and that could mean leading all the way up to that Real Madrid game that I had spoken to you guys about. Another one I have a problem with that I'm a little bit scared is the Isak injury. He had 2 early chances in the game, and you go back and watch the highlights of those 2 chances, he is moving very gingerly after that second time. And I believe, from what I heard in a press conference with Slot, apparently it was a hamstring thing or something along those lines. It was like definitely a leg injury, a lower leg injury, and he was having trouble with it, and they were like, you know what, we're going to call it at halftime for him. And sucks because I like Isak, but apparently he hasn't trained a whole lot with the team, given the fact that he's had his issues with trying to leave Newcastle, and that was a whole to-do, as we all are well aware. So he didn't really get the chance to train in training camps all that much until after he was acquired by Liverpool. So I think they've been kind of steadily placing him in the lineups and putting him in training. I believe Slot said 2 trainings a week is what they're doing for him now. And it also looks like now he's out for the foreseeable future, which is not great news. That's a big player in Isak, who's our star pickup in the transfer window. And then Frimpong, who should be a big player on the defensive side, he's out now. And it seems like that's going to be a longer injury than the Isak one. So that's not super great. Now, here's a bit of some rumors that I want to talk about that I don't know if they have any merit, personally speaking. Because they also kind of broke a little bit prior to this game. Apparently, Bournemouth's Anthony Semenyo is being in talks, or is Liverpool is considering talking with him to acquire him to replace Mohamed Salah, which I am not going to lie, I don't know how I feel about that move. I know Salah has had his problems, but I don't think Semenyo is the answer for that, to be honest. I mean, Semenyo's a bit younger, yeah, but I don't know. And he's given us trouble in the past, but I don't know. I just don't think that's the move to go with. Apparently, Tottenham and United have also scouted him during the last transfer window, according to ESPN. But it seems like the Reds are the ones that are the favorites to sign the 25-year-old. Salah, as we know, is also leading Egypt in the continental tournament race, but and Ghana is failing to qualify. But Semenyo will be available to play club football throughout the fixture heavy January period. So it seems like January is the date that we are looking at for a possible Semenyo acquirement. Again, I don't think these rumors have any merit at this moment in time. I think Salah is in a lull. Yes, he has not played very well. Yes, but he's Mo Salah, and he's going to have some kind of boost sooner or later. He's had these problems in the past. I've watched it as a fan of the team for several years now. I've watched Mo Salah have these lulls, and this is nothing new to me, unfortunately. But I also know that he can come back from these lulls, and he's going to be the absolute machine that we know him to be. And he should be the machine that we know him to be. Whether or not it's sooner or later, don't know. Now that Isak is out, Mo's going to have to play a little bit more, or at least be reliable a little bit more. It's going to be a very, very difficult time to figure out what's going to go on there. And I honestly don't think the fans are ready to say goodbye to Mo. I know a lot of them are very upset with him, but I don't think he should be replaced. I think he should be benched, but he should not be full-on replaced. And I think a replacement is not the route to go here right now. But what do I know? As we all know, he is also a acquirement of course, our famous, very famous manager, Jurgen Klopp, who apparently spoke that it is theoretically possible for him to manage Liverpool again one day, which this is another thing I've heard on the interwebs, and I don't know if these also have any merit to them. 9 years, man. He was here for 9 years, and you can see the color literally drain from his hair. The man was like an absolute ginger, like darker haired gentleman, younger gentleman, and you can tell that the sport aged him a lot. And when he said in that famous interview, "I'm tired, I'm running out of energy," I felt that, because I can't imagine the stress that he would have having to run a club like Liverpool. And not many people have had the run that he's had, at least not in recent years in Premier League football. I mean, 9 years is a lot for a manager nowadays. And honestly, 9 years is a lot for any coach nowadays. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Klopp. I have a special bond with that man. I've loved him. I love him as a coach. I love him as a person even more so. But I don't know if it's the right move for him to ever come back. One, because I think that era is over. He's had his time. I think Slot is the guy that we're going to run with right now and should run with right now. But I don't think going back, as far as I know, going back to old coaches never goes right. Okay? I mean, I can't tell you how many teams I'm a fan of that have tried to go back to old coaches after the first stint doesn't go well, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's re-sign him." I think the Knicks are a very big proponent of this problem. I think the Knicks have hired the same coach multiple times in our years where we were having a really rough time. But then there's also times where you have a manager for such a long period that he's missed, and Jurgen Klopp is one of those people. And I compare that run to Joe Torre in the Yankees. I'm a big Yankees fan. Joe Torre for the first God, what was it? I think it had to have been like the first 12 or 13 years of my life. Joe Torre was the manager of the New York Yankees. And when he was gone, it's like, wow, how am I going to move on? And then, of course, we had our replacement, and that was great, and we had some good success with it. But in Joe Girardi, but I honestly think that Klopp has to stay gone for his own good and the club's own good, and I mostly consider from like a health point of view. I mean, like I said, the amount of stress the poor man must have was enough. Trying to, especially considering that they never signed any talent for him. Now, when he leaves, they sign all the talent, but when we needed the talent under Klopp, they were like, "No, we're not going to pay them. We're not going to give them that much money, or we're not going to sign or re-sign new players." Um, but apparently, like he said, he claims the return is not impossible. He has said he will never coach another team in England that wasn't Liverpool. He's gone on record and said that many times now. So I believe that. And he clearly hasn't. He currently works for the Red Bull as a global soccer. I think he's the head of global soccer, and Red Bulls are a very big brand in itself, considering they have a New York team and teams across the world apparently. But yeah, he says it's theoretically possible. I think he can come back as like a ambassador of sorts. I don't think he should come back in a coach, maybe even like a lower coaching position, like an assistant coach or something. But I don't think as a full-on manager, it's going to be the best idea for us. Mostly because I think, for as much as I love Klopp, he did have some tactical errors as far as placing talent and lineups and structure of how they should be. I think the last couple of years, which is where I started watching, was very evident in that at times. But you know, I'll never not give Klopp his flowers. I've done a lot of research into his days even before I started watching the team and what he did to build the team from, I mean, for what it sounds like, relative obscurity or close to the point of relative obscurity. And, doubters to believers is a very real quote. I mean, it's a very real mindset, too. And it's a mindset that I subscribe to because Jurgen Klopp subscribed to it. So I don't want to ever say it's not going to happen, that he's not going to be back with the team, but he should not be back in a manager position. Maybe like it is in a lower form of coaching. But that's all I have to say about that. I appreciate the fact that you guys wanted to stop by and listen to the latest episode of Liverpool Latest. And I appreciate Fan Art for giving me the opportunity. Please go and support them. And, of course, subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys on the next upload. Take care now.